Most people believe that if they're kind, polite, and friendly, others will naturally like them. But the truth is far more complicated. People often form opinions about you in seconds, and sometimes, without realizing it, you display small behaviors that instantly push them away. These subtle habits might feel harmless, but they quietly trigger dislike, mistrust, or even resentment. And because no one usually tells you directly, you keep repeating them, losing opportunities for friendship, connection, and influence. The first subtle behavior that makes people dislike you is interrupting. You might not mean it as disrespect, maybe you're excited, or you feel like you already know what the other person is going to say. But interruption communicates one thing clearly: what I have to say is more important than you. And nothing makes people feel smaller, faster than being cut off mid-thought. If you want people to like you, learn to listen fully. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Be present enough to let their words breathe. Respectful silence is far more powerful than rushing to be heard. Another behavior that instantly creates dislike is lack of eye contact. When you avoid looking at people while speaking, you appear distracted, dishonest, or disinterested. People read eye contact as a sign of presence, attention, and truth. Without it, trust collapses. Of course, staring intensely can feel aggressive, but balanced eye contact communicates warmth and sincerity. People don't remember every word you say, but they always remember how present you made them feel. Next is one of the most overlooked behaviors: constantly checking your phone. You might think you're multitasking, but to the person in front of you, it's loud and clear you don't value them. Nothing kills connection faster than splitting your attention. When someone sees your eyes drift to your screen again and again, they feel secondary, and nobody enjoys being treated like background noise. If you want to be genuinely liked, learn to put the phone away when engaging with someone. Full attention is one of the greatest gifts you can give. Another behavior that sparks dislike is complaining too much. While sharing struggles can create connection, constant negativity drains people. Humans naturally avoid what feels heavy. If every conversation you have revolves around problems, frustrations, or bad news, people begin associating you with negativity. They won't necessarily confront you, but they'll quietly pull away. Liking someone often comes down to energy. If your presence feels uplifting, people gravitate toward you. If it feels draining, they retreat. One subtle but powerful habit that pushes people away is one-upping. Someone shares a story, and instead of listening, you respond with your own slightly bigger story. They mention a challenge, you mention a harder one. They share a win, you share a bigger win. It may not be intentional, but one-upping makes people feel unseen. Instead of celebrating their moment, you overshadow it. Over time, this habit communicates insecurity and self-centeredness. To be liked, learn to share the stage. Let others have their moment fully without turning it into yours. Another behavior that makes people dislike you instantly is excessive self-promotion. Confidence is attractive, but constantly steering conversations towards your achievements, talents, or possessions makes you seem insecure. People respect those who let their actions speak louder than their words. If you always highlight your success, people start wondering if you're trying too hard. True influence doesn't demand attention, it draws it naturally. Being late repeatedly is another subtle sign that makes people dislike you. Time is respect. Every minute you make someone wait communicates that your schedule is more valuable than theirs. Even if you apologize, patterns of lateness tell people you're unreliable. Over time, this creates silent resentment. Punctuality isn't about being rigid, it's about showing that you value others enough to be present when you promised. Another behavior that destroys likability is gossip. People might laugh with you when you speak poorly about others, but deep down, they're losing trust. Because if you gossip about someone else, what stops you from gossiping about them? Gossip communicates insecurity and disloyalty. It makes you look small. On the other hand, being known as the person who doesn't gossip builds respect and likability instantly. People feel safe with those who keep integrity in conversations. Poor listening is another silent killer. Nodding absent-mindedly, cutting people off, forgetting what they said, all signal that you're not truly present. And when people feel unheard, they start disliking you, even if they can't explain why. Listening is more than hearing words. It's showing with your body, your eyes, your responses that you care. People don't crave perfect answers, they crave genuine attention. Another subtle behavior that creates dislike is sarcasm or constant teasing. While humor can bond people, sarcasm often creates hidden wounds. You might think you're being playful, but if your words cut too deep, people remember the sting long after they laugh. Teasing may earn short-term laughs, but too much of it leaves long-term scars. Likability grows in safety, not in hidden jabs. Disrespecting personal space is another trigger. Standing too close, touching without permission, or ignoring social boundaries makes people uncomfortable instantly. Respect for space equals respect for personhood. When you don't honor invisible boundaries, people feel invaded, and no one likes those who make them feel unsafe. Another habit that repels people is talking only about yourself. If every conversation circles back to your life, your struggles, your dreams, people lose interest. Liking someone comes from balance. Share, yes, but also ask, listen, and explore the other person's world. Curiosity about others is one of the fastest paths to being liked. Self-absorption, on the other hand, is one of the fastest ways to be disliked. Being inconsistent in your behavior also makes people dislike you. One day you're kind, the next day you're cold. One moment you're supportive, the next you're dismissive. People respect stability. They like knowing what version of you they'll meet. Inconsistency feels unpredictable, and unpredictable feels unsafe. People may tolerate it for a while, but deep down, it makes them pull away. Another subtle behavior is dismissing others' feelings. When someone shares their struggle and you respond with, "It's not a big deal," or "Just get over it," you communicate that their emotions don't matter. People dislike those who minimize their experiences. Empathy, even in small doses, builds trust and likability. Dismissiveness quietly destroys it. Finally, a behavior that makes people dislike you instantly is lack of gratitude. Taking people's time, help, or kindness for granted leaves them feeling unappreciated. People remember how you made them feel, and nothing makes them feel smaller than giving without acknowledgement. Gratitude, on the other hand, is magnetic. A simple, genuine thank you carries more power than most people realize. Here's the hard truth. People rarely tell you these things. They won't say, "I dislike you because you interrupt," or "I'm pulling away because you complain too much." Instead, they just stop calling. They stop trusting. They stop caring. That's why self-awareness is crucial. If you recognize yourself in any of these behaviors, don't panic. Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is the willingness to change. Drop the interruptions. Put the phone away. Celebrate others without overshadowing them. Show up on time. Replace gossip with loyalty. Choose empathy over sarcasm. Listen more than you speak. The key to being liked isn't about pretending or forcing charm. It's about removing the subtle habits that push people away. When you do that, your natural personality has room to shine. And people will not only like you, they'll trust you, respect you, and want you in their lives. Because in the end, likability isn't about perfection, it's about presence. It's about humility. It's about making others feel valued in your company. And when people feel good around you, they don't just like you, they remember you.